Bob actually messaged me and told me like how Julian, like it's Julian is a brand and I shouldn't abandon that, and it's just like Magma Lore 2000 is just crap and I shouldn't use that. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go back.
Oh,
I appreciate that you really cared.
I mean, like, dude, he doesn't know anything about cool names though.
Tagoras just posted a tweet 2 minutes ago saying Sheoldred is insane in Legacy Doomsday. Played 10 rounds of the deck today on stream and she won a third of them alone.
Yeah.
High praise.
I was watching his stream this morning, and it was just winning.
Yeah, I think with that, we're just going to say hello and welcome to Everyday Channel number 133. No, fuck, I fucked it up. Hello and welcome to Everyday Channel number 131, your favorite, most deceptively named bi-weekly Legacy podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our brand new Patreons, David Putz, Jackson C., Skitalias, and Cassandra Davis. If you want to support the running of the show directly, you can support us on patreon.com/everydaychannel. Yo, it's a full house again. We got 4 people tonight, but before we introduce our, well, I always say special guest. I think it gets old at some point. Like, very special guest. We'll have to figure, like, you guys are the native
I think
speakers.
you always say special guest. Like, you know, can we like introduce like a non-special guest?
You know,
maybe,
it's kind of like when you have a product and you say, oh, by the way, it's free of, I don't know, atomic testing, whatever. Like, yeah. Like my t-shirt is free of sugar. It's like, yeah, of course. But once you stop printing it on it, like all of a sudden you're just a guest, you know, a special guest. So, you know, you...
Right.
Or we could believe that all the guests are special. That's why we invite them on.
Right.
Yeah, that's
it's not true, but that's what we'll tell them.
So yeah, guys, what have you been up to? Kai, how's life?
Dude, it's you know, I'm just here. I just got myself a drink. I ran out of beer at home, so I'm sipping a nice gin sour kind of thing. But I also have a glass of water. You know, just to keep being balanced. I successfully booked my flight to Four Seasons Bologna in December, dude.
Hell yeah, he did it.
Crazy, so far ahead of time,
dude. I kind of feel uncomfortable and like for really like being in this situation, but it happened, and pretty looking forward to it. Yeah, it's gonna be the first week of December, I believe.
Wait, it's the second week of December.
That's the second one. Okay,
No.
I just got let me like recheck my flight real quick.
No, just like I literally have no idea which week of
Hey
December
guys,
it is.
I booked my flight on the wrong day. No, like seriously though, it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be the European Legacy Masters for the first time, and
Tell me more about that. Is there anyone qualified for that?
Oh, dude, I got no idea. Just I'm just a random dude, just like hanging out, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear like a couple of different countries have selected their representatives. Actually, this is like the most undemocratic. Actually, we try to give it the face of democracy or something, right? And in this kind of context where everybody like stops believing in democracy, we decided, okay, we're gonna select the players. It's not gonna be very democratic, but we're gonna have like an aristocracy, and inside the aristocracy, there's gonna be democracy. And yeah, I guess fast forward, Callum, Kai, and I are. Well, qualified sounds like the wrong word, right? Have been selected to represent.
Invited.
We've been invited. That's the best way to put it.
That sounds better. Yeah,
that sounds way better. To represent Germany and is it going to be the UK? Is it going to be all of the UK that's sitting on the shoulders?
I think this episode will come out after it's announced, but I'm not going to say the other name yet. But we have another very well-known and well-loved UK person, so not from England, also with a special invitation. So,
you know what? I literally don't know, but now I can actually guess.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a teaser. I think you can guess.
You know what? Since I actually don't know, and I don't want you to respond, is it going to be Gary from Scotland who won the Legacy GP? I could imagine that. Yeah, well, you're not supposed to respond. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But if you say not from England, he's the first guy who comes to mind.
My lips are sealed.
Of course they are.
Right.
But I've also booked my flights for Four Seasons. I just jumped on it. I saw the prices were good, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do a Kai. I'm just going to get it in there, do it. And I'm super, super excited. Like the whole idea of an invitational thing is just really cool to me. And before I was told that I'd get like a special invite, I was totally determined to super try hard at the events and try and qualify. I was going to try and travel to another one. But because I've been running these like non-profit events in London for about 6 years now, plus the podcast, I think they said this first event, I know you were saying like it's undemocratic and stuff, but the first event is just to get the name out there and pick it up. It's not like most of the players will have qualified by winning events or doing well, but they're trying to get people that, you know, a bit known in the Legacy community and stuff to attend, so that everyone is motivated to qualify for the next one the following year. So yeah.
Oh, is that the biggest motivation? Hey, I can see Callum, I can touch him.
Not me.
I mean, you might make it in the next year as well, so that's the big motivation.
Yeah. So it is. I just, like, you know, we've talked about this before, how like GPs used to have the big side events and stuff, and you know, with the lack of GPs going on and stuff, as it's just gone on, there's been something missing. This like something to properly practice for and properly prepare for and stuff. So I'm completely motivated to do well at this event. It's really cool.
Yeah. Maybe is it okay if we also already announced that there might be some special episode coming up, like, you know, being directly recorded at Bologna Four Seasons?
Yeah, we haven't actually talked about it at all until now, but let's do it.
I was going to say, like, it's not like I'm hearing about the idea for the first time, but
well, you know, we can also cut it out, but
no, we're going to keep this,
dude. I'm just saying, you know,
no, we should record we should do like a video live stream there as well, or record an episode or something.
We're gonna do a bunch of stuff there. Yeah, I'm still actually thinking about whether I'm maybe gonna drive to bring some equipment, or maybe I can take all of it on the train. But we'll certainly figure that out. We need some kind of casting couch, right? I mean, I haven't looked at all at any of the apartments you guys suggested, but I'm gonna trust you that they are gonna have a casting couch.
Mm-hmm. Yep. To practice the Painter versus Doomsday matchup on.
Oh my goodness. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I think, like, you know, if you asked me that question like a week ago, I would have said, like, dude, hell no. But
Kai's won one league match against Painter.
Dude, now
and he's
I'm ready.
cocky.
Dude, yeah, come with me, bro.
I so will.
Cool. Yeah, so for me, I'm back from the diving trade fair, literally my favorite trade fair in the world. And yeah, I had a really great time. Dude, I sold some absolutely insane safaris. You know how there's like these standard safaris, like 1.5 days, 2.5 days? We sell like, that's basically most of what we sell. But then you get those like really special customers, and they usually come in at that trade fair, and they have like some like alteration requests to the safari. Like they take the safari and they're like, okay, you know, add this, add that. I want this animal. I want the animal to do that. And then all of a sudden you end up like the 2.5 day safari turns into an 11-day safari. And I'm working on putting that together, and it looks, I guess I can say that, it looks like a 30,000 euro safari, which is
Holy shit.
Like that's the annual income for some people. It's
I mean, it sounds cool, but I went on an 11-day safari just this past weekend.
Wait, help me out.
Wait, what? Yeah.
Don't worry. Carry on.
Oh, you know what? Callum doesn't just like, oh no, I've been showing off the easy. I got...
Just spended time.
I get it. Oh, I get it. 11-day safari on every single weekend. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm not.
My hosts are so on the ball. Don't you love it?
No, I'm just having some Spanish wine.
Cool. Oh yeah.
Somehow
great.
we decided we're gonna have something to drink tonight.
Yeah. On that note, should we introduce our guest, because we told him he needs to day drink?
We have a day. What was it?
We got a guest. What?
Oh, actually, we have a guest. It's kind of funny. Callum, you want to tell the story how the guest actually came on the podcast?
I don't know the story.
Okay, the story is, first of all, we're going to have Max Gilmore, also known as Maxtortion, or also known as the, well, I was going to say the better half, but it's more like the Max half of minmaxblog. Is it .com, Max? Help us out. Dude, we are so underprepared because...
Yo, what's up, guys? Yeah, it's .com. Minmaxblog.com.
Awesome. You know, when the guest is so famous, you actually stop preparing like introductions, because like, imagine you have Barack Obama on the cast and you're like, oh, this is Barack Obama. He's a politician. Like, dude, come on, please.
Like, imagine if you'd ever say that. Like, he's a politician. Holy shit.
Retired politician.
Man. So Max is a legacy player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you say that?
I do.
The dude.
Yeah, I can very much say that.
I play this Magic the Gathering format known as Legacy, and I play it a lot. It's very fun.
That's
Hell
crazy, though. Yeah.
And with that, if you want to support the running of the show, no, actually, Callum told us you were going to come on the cast, and we were like, yeah, hell yeah, let's get Max on the cast. And then like half an hour later, Callum told us, actually, I forgot, like, actually, I need to ask him first.
You knew I'd say yes. Like, I love hanging out with you guys. Like, I'm almost considering like trying to book a ticket to Bologna, which is not close to where I live at all.
So
just
sick.
Out, but
Yeah, you got a bunch of time. You just do it the day before, you know.
Yeah, if you can convince my work to give me extra vacation days, I would do it. But I'm currently fresh out.
Can you give me the email address?
You could quit.
Just I don't know, call in sick. Hey, yeah, I mean those Italian sounds in the background. It's don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's this new Netflix series that I'm watching. They all speak Italian. But dude, have you ever been to Italy?
I have not.
It's amazing.
You should.
Know,
Like, this is one of the best regions, I want to say, of Europe. Like, there's a lot of people who say, oh, this is the nicest place, this is the nicest place. Like, all that area around, like, I guess if I say Florence, a lot of people in Bologna are going to be pissed off. But to me, that's just like a greater region in like mid-central Italia. Oh,
I just love all Italy, so yeah. But we got Max on because, one, he's great to chat with, and two, you did something over the weekend, didn't you, Max? What happened?
I joined a tournament early Sunday morning and ended up playing the tournament until late Sunday afternoon. I won the Legacy Showcase Challenge.
Hell yeah.
Congrats!
That's Magic tournaments.
And these Showcase challenges are tough, right? So they... Like, the challenges, I think, are tough to win already. You get a lot of great players in there, like, tougher than leagues. The Showcase challenges, you get, like, all the good Legacy grinders. Like, every single one will be in there. And then you get, like, the grinders from other formats picking up the best decks as well coming in. These things are tough. So, yeah, what did you play? And give us a rundown of it.
So I played Blue-Black Turbo Doomsday, the fast version of the deck, if you will. I won my first 6 rounds, so 6-0, and there were 3 6-0s. And then I lost round 7 and won round 8, which was very fortunate because it ended up being a clean cut. The tournament was 212 players.
It's on the dot,
if you notice, when Magic Online does its, the overall like tournament structure overview, it says that 8 rounds goes until 212 players, and 213 was the 9th round. So it turns out Caleb Durward was going to play this event and was tweaking his numbers on his deck list until like 8:01 a.m. basically, and just missed actually entering.
And then a whole extra round for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. So because he missed registering, it became 212 players, and which is nice because at a clean cut, it was 8-7-1s. No one actually ran undefeated.
Nice.
And so one of the things I hate most about the tournament structure of Magic Online is, how you'll have like a bunch of, an 8-round tournament, you'll have like an 8-0 and like 5-7-1s, and then the remaining 2 are the people who are 6-2 with the best breakers, and then 6-2 goes from like 7th place down to like 22nd place.
Yeah.
So like you can either get into top 8 or miss top 16 with the same record, and that is just
Yeah, it's
painful.
like you have a game show and somebody randomly gets a car, and the other person who did the same gets like
some
horse,
batteries.
a bucket of fish.
A horse is pretty good.
Bucket of fish, that dude. How did you come up with bucket of fish?
Well, you said a horse.
I wanted to say like a bouquet of flowers, but I didn't know if that was the word, and then I couldn't get rid of like the B sound in my head.
Yeah, B and F, yeah.
But that feeling is, it's when you lose like one of the early rounds as well, you just kind of know that you're fighting for top 16 at best, if you don't win out, of course. And it's just, yeah, it was pretty. It's very rare to see a clean cut of like all 7-1s.
It's also one of those things where I think if anyone ever wants to make like a spectacle out of a Magic tournament, you really need to have a structure that is very clear, that it's not like, tiebreaker dependent, because it's just like so confusing for like casual viewers. And I mean, even Magic players still sometimes struggle. Like in the last round, they're like, oh, what does it mean? Should I draw? Should I do this? I want a tournament structure where it's just like, if you play, there's always something on the line for you to play. Unless, I guess, you're in the very last places and then you play for the laugh of the game or whatever. But if there can be something on the line, there should be something on the line that's very clearly defined, and not like, I'm going to win and then we're going to roll a dice, which is the most unhyped thing you could imagine, right?
Yeah.
So, before we jump into your event and your list and stuff, let's just give a quick rundown of the top 8, because the top 8 is, 1, every single player is absolutely insane. 2, it's 8 different archetypes. It's super, super cool. So,
I hate to interject. I think it's only 7.
Sorry.
It's 7, yeah.
Oh, there is 7. Yep.
Yeah, we've got so much red.
I'm a mono red prisons player, so I can't count. Sorry. Cool. So I'll give a quick rundown. So in 8th place, we had Gristlepuff, who is Bob Huang on 8cast. 7th place, we had Leviathan 102, Levi Sprung on Blue Red Delver. In 6th, we have Namasquats on, I think, 4-color control. 5th, we have XJ Cloud, who's on Moon Stompy. 4th, we have Cherry X-Man on, like, we're going to dive into this card more, but, like, mono black, quote-unquote, Stompy with lots of Sheoldreds.
I mean, it just says B.
Yeah, it just says B.
B Stompy.
3rd, we have Soulstrong on Moon Stompy again. 2nd, we have MM Mapson125, who's Michael Mapson from the Depths podcast, on Naya Depths. And in first place, we have Max on his blue-black Doomsday deck. So that is just a very cool-looking top 8.
Yeah, real stacked.
I mean, that's what you get, right, in these legacy showcase challenges.
Yeah.
All the best players usually rise to the top. Like, you rarely see top 8s where you're like, oh, I only know like 2 or 3 people out of these.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean that the other ones wouldn't be good, but if you make a name for yourself in Legacy, that's usually through top 8ing a bunch of tournaments.
Right. I mean, they just got lucky,
Clearly.
I mean, just because you do that, Kai, it doesn't mean that everybody's using that method.
It's funny how the same players get lucky every time. I don't know how it works.
It's an insane amount of luck.
Dude, don't want to go deep into this, but one of my most hilarious conspiracy theories that I ever read was somebody on Reddit literally arguing that all the best players in the world are just like outliers of outliers of outliers.
Well, they are just more lucky if they keep winning.
The thing is, like, it's so crazy to comprehend because it's such stupid bullshit. But basically, he's saying, like, guys like Brian Kibler, who have been, like, on the top of the game for, like, 20 years plus, that he's just, like, consistently got lucky and lucky and lucky. And, of course, if you look at the total number of people at the top of the game, you would probably need, like, a couple thousand or millions Earth population to even, like, produce those kinds of outliers playing Magic all day, every day. And, anyway, you guys go on. I just, like, I can't forget about this theory.
We're gonna make like one day we're gonna do like a luck episode or something.
To briefly just like talk about this a little bit because I have really strong feelings about this kind of thing. Like, you look at this top 8 and you're like, hey, it's all these players I recognize in top 8, must not be a luck format. But then you look at the O2s and you'll find great players who went O2 and dropped the tournament. So, like, being good at the format is necessary but not sufficient to win. So, like,
that's a good way to put it.
Losing does not mean you're bad, but if you're winning, you're good and things broke your way.
Yeah, very well put. I completely agree.
Kai, did you play in the tournament?
I did not. I was busy booking flights.
It takes a lot of dedication and training to properly book flights.
Right.
I thought you were about to say play Legacy, but no, book flights.
Cool.
Yeah. To book flights, you need to be good and lucky.
Exactly. Like, good players go O2 all the time. Like,
it's true.
I think I 1-2 dropped the last showcase I played. It just happens.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to hear about the most famous O2 player in the world? Paulo Vitor Damarosa, who's like on the shortlist of shortlists for the best player in history. He once started out a Pro Tour O2 and ended up winning the entire thing. That's just like so impressive to me.
That's cool.
That speaks to a really strong mental game as well.
Definitely. So Max, you played. Well, your deck list says 1 blue-black turbo Doomsday, and it certainly looks like a turbo Doomsday list. Should we quickly go over all the choices that you make?
Sure, yeah. So the most important choice, the 1 in front of blue-black turbo Doomsday, is so it goes to the top of my decks on Modo, because I have way too many decks I've created. So 1 is for the decks I'm actively playing, and then I pull off the 1 when I'm not. So blue-black turbo Doomsday, the reason I played this over basically a bunch of other decks is on Wednesday I asked my wife, should I play Rug or should I play Doomsday? And she said, play Doomsday, your rounds will be faster. And so I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Because I'm a dad of 2 small kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And so, like, while playing the tournament, I'm also, being a dad the whole time as well. Like, playing with my kids, building with like magnetiles while actively playing my rounds, which is...
Hey everybody, unfortunately this is where somebody stormed into my room and poured wine all over my keyboard, which, if you didn't know, and I certainly didn't know, actually breaks up your entire computer and makes it completely unable to function in the first place. So from here on forward, I actually switched to my couch, recorded from my laptop with a slightly worse microphone, so we apologize. I apologize. Or actually, the person storming into my room apologizes ahead of time. And I hope you're going to enjoy the rest of the cast. And we're going to move back to Max, Kai, Callum, and me. Thanks for listening.
So, Julian, can you recall where we were at when...
Absolutely not, when the wine spilling accident happened. So, no, I think we're just going to pick it right back up again. And somebody walked into my room, spilled wine on my keyboard. And if you didn't know, that actually wrecks the keyboard for 2 to 3 days, according to Google. So now I switched to my work laptop and my headsets, and we're gonna try to make this work. And Max, I think you were just gonna talk about like how you constructed the list, right? Because there's different ways to build Doomsday, and after introducing us to your naming scheme on Magic Online, you were gonna talk about a couple of the more interesting is the yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
In German, we say like nice is the little brother of like was it asshole or something? Kai, help me out. That's a German saying.
I think interesting is the stupid brother of shitty, I think, or something like that, right?
Yeah,
like if you say that something's interesting, it's usually like
we got a way worse saying in German, but I literally can't remember it.
That's why I hate German.
Oh yeah, it's like net, right? Net is der kleine Bruder of
Oh
Scheiße.
yeah, right.
Like nice is the little brother of shit. Anyway, Max, you will carry the show because I feel so naked without a proper microphone. So
Okay, sure.
all my hopes and dreams are on you now.
It's the Doomsday of your microphone. It's fitting.
It's the apocalypse of microphone.
Yeah.
Keyboard apocalypse. Yeah, so Blueback Turbo Doomsday. Yeah, as Julian mentioned, there's a ton of ways to build Doomsday. The cool part about the deck is Doomsday itself is like a very small package, or it can be. Just actual, like, the card Doomsday itself and some way to draw into and cast Boss's Oracle is all you actually need. But the way I built Blueback Turbo Doomsday is, at least game one, to be the most ruthlessly efficient way of casting Doomsday and winning quickly. So, to run down the list quickly, I played 16 lands, Cavern main deck, Swamp main deck, which I'll get to in a little bit. As far as acceleration goes, I played 4 Dark Rituals, 3 Lotus Petals, 2 Cabal Rituals. So that is 9 ritual effects, essentially. 4 Personal Tutors, which is a card I hate, but I played 4 of, because they are the best card at finding Doomsday and putting it on top of your library. Nothing else does it quite as well as that. So 4 Personal Tutors and 4 Doomsdays, of course. And then in being ruthlessly efficient in a game 1 deck, played Deep Analysis. So I was thinking back onto why I did so well with Doomsday right when Consider got released with the new Innistrad set, and then essentially, stopped doing so well and kind of dropped the deck for a while. And I was thinking about it, and I was playing Deep Analysis in those decks, and the problem with Deep Analysis is that it loses to everything. It loses to Graveyard Hate, it loses to Pyroblast, it loses to Counter Magic, it loses to, Lightning Bolt because you're paying through life. Basically, any surgical, any piece of interaction that someone has against you, Deep Analysis is soft to. So it's a pretty bad card, but what it is really good at is winning game 1 before people have those cards. And so my thought was that I was going to put Deep Analysis into my main deck, win games from low resources that on the same turn that no one else could actually win from, no other card could actually win from, and then side it out almost always. So then I would win game 1, side out the Deep Analysis and become less vulnerable, and sideboard into this auxiliary sideboard plan of the Sheoldred the Apocalypse, which, aside from being a great flavor win, because it's like the Apocalypse and Doomsday and kind of like synonyms and fit flavorfully, and the art colors, like Doomsday is like orange and black, and Sheoldred's orange and black. Like if you cross your eyes, they kind of look like the same card almost.
It's the same card.
Is that the Maxtortion school of deck building?
It is.
You gotta have the proper fitting colors. By the way, before we move on, can you quickly, Callum, can you help us out? What does Sheoldred do?
Yeah, so Sheoldred is a 4 mana, 2 in double black. She's a 4/5 legendary creature, has Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. It's one of these cards that screams like it's 4 mana, it's a legend that gets bounced by Caracas. It doesn't create immediate value when it comes in, so why are we wrong, Max?
Wait, yeah, I was gonna say, why do you say all the shitty parts about
No, I'm setting it up to hype it up.
Exactly. So no, that's actually exactly it. So I was racking my brain trying to think of this pivot plan, because as we talked about, there's a bunch of different ways to build Doomsday. Esper Doomsday, which is this slower build that I actually adore. I love playing Esper Doomsday. Won 4 Seasons Bologna a couple weeks ago, and so one of the things about that deck, and one of the reasons it's good, is you can actually have this good pivot plan where you side out of Doomsday, or cut Doomsday and bring in these mentors and basically become this Esper control deck. So you have this auxiliary sideboard plan, and I love having an auxiliary sideboard plan, but I do not love having a sideboard plan that loses to Pyroblast when people are bringing in like 4 to 6 Pyroblasts in every postboard game because it interacts with the blue part of Doomsday. So I was racking my brain trying to figure out, okay, I need a creature that can accelerate out and doesn't lose to Pyroblast and can win a game on its own, ideally beating Murktide Regent. And I was just like going crazy trying to figure this out. Like, okay, what is this? What card is this? And then like Daniel Goetschel was like talking about how Sheoldred is like probably good in Legacy, and people were making fun of him on Twitter for it. And then
you joined them.
So yeah, I hadn't tried it yet. And then I was like, I don't know. And then I was like going through like the Doomsday Discord, and a user named Omnis posted, okay, hear me out, with an image of Sheoldred. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. So I threw her into a league and was absolutely amazed at how good she is. Like, it reads like a 2 life swing thing a turn, but it's not. Basically, it reads like, you know how Narset and Leovold, basically like your opponent can't cantrip, like Hold Breacher effect? It's a Hold Breacher effect on your opponent, plus every time you cast a cantrip, you gain that much life. Brainstorm gains you 6. Like Murktide hits for 8, Brainstorm gains you 6. And so it's like absolutely busted how much like stronger it is.
So you're saying it gains you 6 on top of the 2 that you already gained just for the turn?
So you
it's
gain,
kind of crazy.
Right, so you've undone like a maximum power Murktide hit. Like if you know how much like a Murktide hits for, like you get hit once, you're like almost dead.
It's about
so
10
like,
million.
Yeah, exactly. So like you're gaining that 10 million life back in a turn. So
yeah.
And in addition, that's like, so you're stabilizing while your opponent's losing life, and they can't cantrip to find, like, say they're double deck and like kept 1 Brazen Borrower because like flash threat, whatever. So they still have like technically an answer. They can't brainstorm for it, or they just lose. So like your opponent's like stuck while you're just like racing. And if you
she also creates that perfect board state where like it's one of these things you don't realize until you see it in play a bit, where it's like, okay, it's a 4/5, that's super beefy, that's a good attacker, and so if it comes to a board stall, that's fine, she's winning the game by being in play. If it's not a board stall, it's a race, well, she'll win the race for you. She's very, very hard to just play against at all.
She's a race car driver. Kai, can you do an alteration?
Pretty much. I've been looking at this card, but it's such a beautiful card, right? I'm so happy that Sheoldred looks like so much better than Thassa's Oracle, you know.
He does, right? You hate the artwork of Thassa's Oracle, don't you?
I don't hate it, but it's a little embarrassing, you know. Like
that sounds very much like hating it.
I would prefer that, you know, like the game finishing creature would be something like Sheoldred, the Apocalypse, and not some stupid fish, you know. But that's just me. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I also played with Sheoldred. It was pretty cracked. This card. I mean, like she dies to a bunch of things, right? Like Lost X Swords to Plowshares, for example. Karakas is a good example, and people even on my stream, people even said like Fatal Push and Path to Exile, which is obviously a meme. But
yeah, postboard mainstay cards against Doomsday, right?
Yeah, like this card, it just did. I think Sheoldred kind of like controls the board quite a bit. Like she doesn't even have to attack. That's the point, you know. Like it just sits there. People can't really attack into Sheoldred, which is really awkward, right? And not a lot of creatures in Legacy are bigger than a 4/5. Yes, I don't know. She can just chill there, and you know, just we gotta figure it out.
It kind of reminds me of Fable. Not that the cards do the same thing at all, but they're very unassuming when you just read the text and you see what it does. It's like advantage at different stages of the game on different board states, and then when you start seeing how they play, it's like, oh, I see. Okay.
So you're saying we should play multiple copies of this in the Black Red Knights deck?
yeah, true.
Yeah, it's Fable is a perfect analogy, Callum, because it's like when you read the card, like no one was playing Fable at first, and then you know you're playing 4 in Painter. XJ's put 4 into Moon Stompy and ramped it up to like arguably the best or second best deck in the format. Like it doesn't look like much when you read it, but just the sum of its parts is, and the context of the match and the context of Legacy is just so good.
That's the key, isn't it? It's not like the raw power of what a card does, it is perfectly, as you articulated, in the context of Legacy and in the context of what you want it to be doing in your deck, which is she controls the board and the game, which is areas of the game Doomsday prior to this had very little control over. Like, you had these kind of the opposition agents and stuff, but that's not doing the same thing. It doesn't control the board, it doesn't control the flow of the game. With her, you can probably then choose when you're racing or not and stuff. Like, you have a Brazen Borrower, then the sideboard as well, a Chain of Vapor. If these are coming in against things where you expect some hate, and then you just have a Sheoldred in play, you can then dictate a tempo game, or you can set up, you're just like, okay, now I'm going to sit back as a blocker, and then sculpt the perfect hand to then kill you with Doomsday. She just covers so many angles for Doomsday.
Right.
Exactly.
I think that Sheoldred has like the same power as Hull Breacher, where like this card is so oppressive that people need to find an answer immediately. Like, and if they don't have the answer in hand, they have to obviously dig for an answer, which really doesn't work, right? I mean, against Hull Breacher, it's completely like, it just doesn't work. But against Sheoldred, it might just cost half of their life. It's
right.
That's a pretty good deal.
Between Hull Breacher and Sheoldred, one of the things, like, especially with Sheoldred, the thing I was trying to really find with this is like, Hull Breacher dies to Bolt, Hull Breacher dies to Pyroblast. Those are frequently played cards. And as you guys already touched on, like, the cards that answer Sheoldred cleanly are not cards that you would want to leave in against Doomsday postboard, like, Swords to Plowshares or whatever. Like,
So yeah, before I move on the way back home from work, I was actually listening to Elo Pantas number 34. Check them out at Elo Pantas on Twitter. And Anuraag was actually talking about Sheoldred, so check this out.
Here's something that I'll tell you about Doomsday as well. When you have to resort to like cheese, I think that's just a surrendering that your matchup in that is just really bad. And so you are trying to like catch your opponent off guard. Looking at Sheoldred and being like scoreboard doesn't really surprise me, because next week, I bet you Max probably won't be playing Sheoldred.
Okay, yeah. So cheese is like, that's actually one of the words that I have a really strong feeling about, because I come from a competitive StarCraft background. I played StarCraft 2 in college. I was pretty good for someone who's not Korean, and got to Grandmaster in the ladder at least. And one of the things I always stood by is that a cheese strategy is just as valid as like a macro strategy in StarCraft, or like a control win, if you will, in like a Magic format. Like, a win is a win. It's worth 3 match points, and having a harder time winning doesn't get you more match points. It's just like, if you win, you win, right? So being a cheat strategy of like, oh, my opponent boarded for Doomsday, and now I'm just going to have this completely orthogonal plan of just like, Sheoldred, deal with it, completely taking them by surprise. Like, yeah, it is cheese, and it was totally valid. And so now that you know it's coming, like, what are you going to do? Just like, leave in Swords to Plowshares against Doomsday? Okay, fine. You better hope to already have it if Sheoldred resolves, if that's the plan I'm going for. It's not like I'm cutting Doomsday. And then, like,
You say that now.
Your discard gets so good here, because you can just discard them, take the force, and be like, okay, you have swords in your hand. I'm going to brainstorm my Sheoldred away then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if they don't have it, you're not going to cantrip for it. It's like, so yeah, it's cheese, but it's also like good. It doesn't being cheese doesn't make it like not valid. And
yeah, I think
cheese is delicious.
It's not so much about like whether it's valid, and more about that it's more like a flavor of the week thing. And like a week from now, we play something else in that slot. Whereas I got the impression that you are pretty much like, you're on this card. Like, did you consider it like a mainstay in the sideboard for now?
I think so. Because as I was saying, I was pretty much going crazy trying to find a deck that actually, or like find a card that can actually flip the Delver matchup, because, basically if Doomsday's weakness, like its big capital letters weakness, is that it loses to Delver. It's got a amazing win rate overall in the metagame, and just like somewhere around 30% overall against Delver. And the reason for that is because Doomsday itself, like, you lose half your life, and then in order to draw into your library, you have to cast pyroblastable spells or lose even more life with cycling. There's like this giant weakness to a clock plus pyroblasts that Sheoldred completely mitigates, because like the fact that you're gaining like, anywhere between 4 and 10 life a turn against Delver means that they can't race you. Meanwhile, like I also listened to Elo Punters actually, so I heard the part about like losing the race to Murktide. It's like, okay, how are they casting Murktide? They cast 3 cantrips, they're already dead.
Yeah, the screenshot I've seen that you posted is like sometimes you go just like for turn 1 Sheoldred, and I would guess like once they're at the point to even cast Murktide, they, like you mentioned, they're already dead.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the card. I don't know. Like, it's also so good against Griselbrand. I mean, it's just like random splash damage, right? Across the board as well.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully no one draws 7 against Sheoldred, but, someone's going to.
I hear one of my opponents recently did that in a YouTube league. Check it out.
Okay, that sounds like a fantastic time.
It was for one of the players.
Yeah, but basically, talk about Sheoldred's power and talk about like this, like going back to the like ruthlessly efficient main deck thing. So I played 11 rounds of a pretty wide variety of decks. Even though Delver was like 30% of the metagame, I only ended up playing against it once, but I won for what it's worth. So I lost game 1, but won games 2 and 3 against Delver. So round 1, I 2-0'd lands. Then I went 2-1 against Blue-Red Delver, losing game 1, and then Sheoldred won me games 2 and 3. I 2-0'd like the Rug, Crashing Footfalls, and Turbo Minsc Boo deck. Then I 2-0'd Mono Red Stompy twice in a row. I 2-1'd against Ant. I think I made a misplay game 2. And then I lost round 7 against Nammer Squats on like 4-color Yorion control. I think he just played better than me. I won game 1, lost games 2 and 3. And then I 2-0'd Grix's midrange in round 8. And then I 2-0'd quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals against 8-cast Mono Black Stompy with Sheoldred, which is a sweet deck, which I'm sure we'll talk about more. And then Naya Depths. And so if you look at that, I played 11 rounds, and I won 10 of the game 1s. And the one game 1 I lost was the one against Blue Red Delver, where, the card Doomsday just has an intrinsic weakness. And so... And then on the game 2s, like I won, with the exception of Yorion control, I won all of my game 2s with Sheoldred.
So did she hard carry in like basically all the sideboard games? And then because the Doomsday game 1 is so powerful, and the rest of the format is mostly, apart from Delver, unprepared by the sound of it, they don't have time to rejiggle their sideboard. They've just been killed. Like that's it.
Right, especially when you go for like such a powerful, like fast 4 personal tutor, deep analysis, 4 discard spells, like this really aggressively turbo all-in Doomsday game 1. Like your opponent's going to basically pivot board hard for Doomsday, right? Like they're going to be like, you are like with Esper Doomsday, like you would just, again, a deck I love, but it's not as focused on Doomsday. It plays 4 Doomsdays. Sometimes it plays 1 Profane Tutor, but it's like essentially playing a mid-range game. It's like, I'm going to draw a bunch of cards and eventually I'll find a Doomsday. And so against those decks, you don't have to like sideboard quite as hard. You can bring in more Pyroblast. You can keep a fairer hand. And you can say, okay, you're eventually going to find a Doomsday. I'll eventually find interaction. But this like Turbo Doomsday deck, no, you have to like have it out of the gates. It's, as turn 1 of a deck as like Black-Haired Reanimator can be. So it's just like this super powerful game 1 that then has this completely orthogonal pivot that doesn't lose to Pyroblast, and like obviously it can get Force of Willed, but I think saying a spell can lose to Force of Will is kind of like a
this is the format. Yeah, totally.
We have to wait for another Modern Horizons to get a Sheoldred that that can't be countered.
Well, Sheoldred doesn't die to Doomblade either, so
if you draw Cavern of Souls, which the deck does play, then you can do that.
Yeah. What are the creature types? Phyrexian something?
Phyrexian Praetor.
Oh, she's a Praetor. Oh yeah, that was the first one, right? That gets card from your graveyard, like creatures from graveyards back on. I see. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, isn't this like already reason to play Dimmy instead of Esper? If you had the choice between Cavern of Souls on Phyrexian or Cavern of Souls on Bird, I mean, I would know my answer.
Dude, this is actually so crazy when I think about this, because just the other week we saw Kai play an Esper control list that happened to have a Doomsday package, and this is the complete opposite approach, which is kind of cool, because we got a question from Neville Shoot, who's basically asking about those 2 different approaches, right? What are the upsides, what are the downsides? And I think the most important part of the question to me is, what would it take for Max to switch to our non-turbo Doomsday list? So basically, whatever the pile of crap that Kai was playing last week.
Wait,
So
what?
the entire reason to play, in my opinion, Kai, correct me if you disagree here, the like non-turbo, the Esper Doomsday list is a better Delver matchup. You basically have enough resources in your main deck and sideboard between like the Baleful Strix and Teferi and Monastery Mentors and 6 or more removal spells to basically, and all these predicts, to be an Esper control deck against Delver and not a Doomsday deck, and have like this slightly favorable matchup against Delver, and then still be, you know, enough of a Doomsday deck against the rest of the field to still like feel good about things, even though you're not like as good at being a Doomsday deck. And so the thing I would need to have to like switch to Esper, first of all, would be for the plan against Delver to be more than slightly favored. Like, if you're going to play a deck that loses percentage points against the rest of the field, and then like still like run into Delver twice and go like 1-1 against it, that's like, that hurts so much. And so you're going to like, almost like with playing Doomsday, say Sheoldred wasn't there and you're playing this turbo build, you're like, okay, I'm going to lose to Delver and I'll beat what's not Delver.
Yeah, that used to be the approach to the deck, right?
Sorry?
That used to be the approach for Doomsday, I felt like. And that's what's like causing so much frustration. Especially, we talk a lot about this with Nevershoot on our Discord. I think like Nevershoot is basically spending all of his free time trying to work out the Delver matchup. And I feel like that's somewhat of a representation of the greater Doomsday community, because whenever I talk to you guys about Doomsday, I think the one thing that you guys really, really care about is fixing the Delver matchup, because apparently all the other matchups are either like very good or
Dude,
good
I mean,
enough.
this is the only thing we have to fix, you know.
Which is like, it's funny too, because like,
Sheesh.
part of me feels like if Doomsday had a good Delver matchup, Doomsday's gonna, or like Thassa's Oracle's gonna get banned. Like, Doomsday having a bad Delver matchup, I think, is the thing keeping the deck fair and in check.
But it's keeping
And
you guys
for
in
what it's
agony.
worth, I think that Sheoldred gives Doomsday a good Delver matchup. And so, like,
Ooh.
I actually think that with this blue-black turbo deck, like, the reason I played it is because I think that it kind of solved it. Like, you know?
Whoa. Dude, that's 2 cards out of a 75. This is legacy.
I was about to say Sheoldred's
play
going to get
3.
Oracle
Like,
banned.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past it. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's a totally reasonable outcome here. If,
I was
like,
about to ask you, do you think 2 or more is the right number?
So I played 2 because I can't play 16 sideboard cards.
Well, you can't. Well,
Although Mystic Sanctuary kind of underperformed, and I think that they overlap enough to where I think you could play a 3rd Sheoldred in the Mystic Sanctuary slot.
What? I thought Mystic Sanctuary is there to put back Brainstorm so you can gain 6 more life.
Yeah, or just, you know, find another Sheoldred. So I think that having a fast Sheoldred, I played like 2 leagues to prep for this tournament, and obviously like was impressed with Sheoldred and had 2 in there, and I just kind of like made a couple small adjustments and then ran it back with like this, added like a second Thassa's Oracle in my second league. I don't know if we talked about it, but real quick, the idea was that I played one Thassa's Oracle for a while, and Kai, you know about that, right? Like, you hate second Thassa's Oracle.
I do.
this is the opposite of everything Kai believes in. That's why it's so beautiful.
So the thing is, when you're playing a deep analysis pile, you can't actually rely on having Oracle in your hand because you have to discard your hand, and with no Brainstorm. So having a second Oracle in the library is important. And then also, you know, there's things like there's 4 Force of Will's main, 4 Force of Negations in the side. Having 8 forces to be able to pitch an Oracle is nice. It's like not this like dead weight card in your hand if you can actually use it as a Stormcrow. Like, just pitch it.
But dude, it depends.
Yeah.
Dude, it
Well, you know,
depends.
well, I
like
think-
last week, Kai, you want to go ahead?
I mean, like, you know, this is where, like, you know, our mentalities kind of go like different ways, because, you know, being Japanese, I would rather die in honor, you know, having this Thassa's in my hand while going for a deep analysis plan, you know, just rather than having another shitty card in my deck. No, like, later on, okay, let me ask you this: if you invite a girl, if you ask a girl for a date, you know, and it failed, you know, would you ask her again? Probably not, right? So why would you want to put like 2 Thassa's in a pile? You know, if the first one gets counted, I already gave up. You know, like
Dude, Kai, I was just gonna say,
have you
I
heard
want to
the
start a
analogy?
podcast.
Have you heard of the saying "the heir and the spare"? Like with nobility, right? Like you have offspring to pass on your titles and your castles and blah blah blah. But like something might happen to your first child, like your heir, and so you have literally backup children. So same deal.
That's how you refer to the second oracle. Hey, you're my backup child.
Just don't fuck up. I mean, like if you never fuck up, then you don't need backup.
Well, I think part of what makes First Oracle so bad is like the fact that you have to like treat it like this like super fragile thing that you can't.
Yeah, like a lady.
Right, but you can't like risk anything happening to it. Like you can't cast it because what if they like have a Swords to Plowshares, or like you can't like pitch one to force, like so it's
like
actually dead card sitting in your hand because like you're sitting on this oracle's so bad because like you can't pitch it to force, but if you have two oracles you can, so it becomes less bad. Like
but you draw them more often. Actually, you increase the chance of drawing Thassa's Oracle by 100%.
Yeah, but that's fine because like okay, so you have Oracle in your hand, you cast Doomsday, then you just make a pile that like has some cyclers in a cavern.
Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna say one thing though, because it sounds like I'm like mercilessly shit talking about Thassa's Oracle, because I think Thassa's Oracle is probably one, if not the worst card to have in an opener, or like before casting Doomsday. After resolving Doomsday, it's actually, if not the best card to have in your hand. So it's like a lot of like black and white I think going on. It shouldn't really sound like I just completely hate this card.
But I mean, the thing is,
every
like,
stage of the game.
You have some very special powers, because when I was watching your stream last week, you literally, I don't know what happened, but you got rid of Thassa's Oracle, right? And you still ended up winning the match with it. Like, how did that happen?
Wait, what? I did what?
You didn't have... Help me out. I'm pretty sure I saw that. The stream you did, where you wanted to go to bed, but you were like, you know what, if we win this, then I'm gonna play all the 5 rounds.
Oh, that was Esper, though, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, right? When you were playing that really weird deck.
Yeah, and I mean, that was Esper, and I think I had like a couple of mentor tokens, and I just built Doomsday with a bunch of brainstorms in it, and just got enough prowess triggers.
No, dude, I can't believe that you are not remembering
Oh,
this.
no, okay, I got that one. Okay, well, this is completely off topic. But
that's why it's so great.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell it anyway. I had a Thassa's Oracle in my hand, but I built a Doomsday pile with not enough blue mana for that Thassa's Oracle, and so I literally couldn't. I had a fetch land on the field, but I think it was like that shitty. It must have been that shitty marsh flats, or something like that. And like, anyway, like I couldn't get my second blue mana. However, I was like on the stream, I was like, dude, the only thing I can hope for is like a concession. Maybe next turn, and we just got the concession.
Yeah, you cracked your fetch land, and with the fetch land on the stack, the opponent conceded the game.
Yeah, something like that.
I gotta say, we gotta link that leak, because that was one of the greatest leaks I've ever watched.
It's like that old LSV story, right? Where he had the burning wish with no tendrils.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. Same thing. But unfortunately, it was Esper and not Dimir.
You say unfortunately as if it was like bad.
I mean, like Dimir is so like last week,
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. So it actually is the flavor of the week. Yeah. We will see. Tune in for next episode when we talk about Grixis Doomsday.
Right. You know what? Because we kept talking about this Thassa's Oracle thing so much. I think what I've been enjoying so much is the combination of Thassa's Oracle plus Ideas Unbound plus Pact of Negation, because those 3 cards, like, that's the dream team for me. It's kind of lame actually, because I do it every single time, but it's Ideas Unbound, and it gets both the one of Thassa's Oracle I have plus the Pact of Negation, and no one can stop me.
Do you think that's as like fast as powerful as Max is describing this deep analysis consider lines?
They can both
seem fairly similar.
Yeah, they can both exist at the same time. And for the longest time, I think I had a go-to Dimir Doomsday deck list. I think until like late July, which had both like deep analysis and Ideas Unbound and Pact of Negation and one lousy Thassa's Oracle. Because there are games where you just have to go for deep analysis, because deep analysis requires the least amount of cards, or like it has almost no requirements to pop off, and Ideas Unbound, you need a few cards in your hand. You might need like a Brainstorm and one random card, or you might need a Cycler and 2 untapped Underground Seas or something like that,
Mm-hmm. Would you guys think that, I mean, so you've then decided to play the Ideas Unbound over the second Oracle, in a sense, if you're going to be a deep analysis thing, then it gives you the other options. So Max thinks the second Oracle there is kind of better than the Ideas Unbound. Is there more that comes with these packages, or is that a right way of thinking about it?
So Ideas Unbound, I think, gives you a more robust pass the turn pile. Because kind of what Kai is saying, like you can ideas into like Cavern Oracle and then a like Pact of Negation for like any, dress down or endurance bullshit or whatever like your opponent could present to you. You have this like free hard counter and you're all in with the Pact. So it makes sense to not have a backup Oracle at that point because like, yeah, you have a backup Oracle, then like Pact of Negation trigger goes on the stack and you lose anyway. Like that doesn't make sense. So I think that's cohesive in that sense. But Ideas Unbound, it gives you like these more robust pass the turn piles, while Deep Analysis lets you win in the same turn with fewer resources.
Right. So you're just saying this game one, you are doing this Deep Analysis thing, and then post sideboard, you don't need to make the more robust pass the turn pile because Sheoldred is your plan in a lot of matchups, or the matchup doesn't need Sheoldred, so you can probably still rely on Deep Analysis.
So I actually would cut Deep Analysis like almost always. So going a little bit back. So if you have like a blue mana and a cycle or a brainstorm and an extra card in hand, you don't need Ideas Unbound to do like a clean win. The Ideas Unbound win, like traditionally, was before Consider was printed, where you'd brainstorm into Lion's Eye Diamond, a cycle, and Ideas Unbound, and put Ideas Unbound and whatever the extra card is in your hand below the Ideas Unbound back on your library. And then you'd like play LED, crack the cycler, or play the cycle, then crack the LED for triple blue. You draw the Ideas Unbound. You draw that extra card in your hand, keyword there, and the bottom 2 cards of your library, which are like Cavern Oracle, and then play Cavern Oracle. Easy win. But with Consider, you can actually just do that with Consider and 2 cyclers, where you draw Brainstorm, or you find cycle into Brainstorm on top of your library and get like LED, cycle, and Consider, and then you put back the extra card in your hand and then Consider on top, and then you play LED, do the same thing, crack for triple blue, cycle, and then you draw Consider, you get rid of the extra card from your hand, and then draw Oracle. So those lines are equivalent on the same turn win, but Ideas Unbound is better for passing the turn because you can just like draw 3 cards and have Oracle plus protection.
It's pretty cool.
Guys, I kind of lost you guys like 2 or 3 minutes ago, and this is where I wish we were like a video cast, so we could like pay
here's where I'll plug this
to put in like all the piles to see that.
Yeah.
No, okay. Yeah.
This is like when like chess grandmasters talk about like B1 to X blah 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 blah. And you're like, okay, I'm trying to visualize this in my head, but I've completely lost track.
Okay, so I have for free on my Twitter, which is @Maxtortion, a sideboard guide and this extensive list of piles. Where this pile list has, what's in your hand, like what's your mana available, what's the deck requirements, like what cards are required to have access to, and what the pile is. And they're for winning this turn and for passing the turn. And I have like something like 30 piles. I don't actually, I've never counted.
I've got it open right now, and it's quite a lot. It's amazing.
You know what you should do? Like, if you guys want to make that much more accessible, you should like create a web application where you don't even manually put in your hand. You have like one of those optical recognition software thingies that literally looks at the board state and tells you your possibilities in real time, popping up on your screen. Like for online poker, one of those head-up displays. That would be game-changing. That would be insane. Not only for like helping you win, but also for seeing all the possibilities. Because, sometimes you would still rule out some of those that the AI wouldn't see why. And that would be like super next level.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Is that like the point where you can like switch off your brain?
Yeah. So Julian, the key word there was for free. This is for free. What you said sounds very expensive. So yeah, you can literally just go to my Twitter. It's my pinned tweet. It has a sideboard guide for this deck and all these piles. So if you're like super grateful about me doing this for free and like want to throw like some MTGO tickets my way or something, I'm not going to like say no to you, but I'm also not charging for this. So if you want to get into Doomsday and you're like, Doomsday is too hard, too scary, I don't know how to sideboard, I don't know how to build piles, it's literally all here. Just click the link.
We're gonna ask Min. Like let's pool the resources. Could be like, I don't know, how expensive is Min? Like 100k? Like how many weeks do people have to win to make that back?
Don't ask Min, because he's so nice. He'll be like, I'll do it for free, and then he's gonna like
no, that's spend
100
like
hours.
100k, right? Send your donations to, I don't know. We're gonna create a Kickstarter.
raise $100,000 to get Min to build this augmented reality.
And then Wizards is gonna like ban Thassa's Oracle.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, then we're gonna go back to like the days of Laboratory Maniac. Yeah,
the dark days.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they used to be tendrils as well, right?
Well, yeah. It used to be like Doomsday into Burning Wish into Tendrils, like some really messed up stuff.
And you would Iggy Pop like through it to get more storm count, and then you would
sometimes you would put a Doomsday into the Doomsday, so you could like increase your storm count.
Very often you'd Burning Wish for like Time Spiral as well, so you need to make sure you had 2 cards in your graveyard when you're doing stuff. You don't deck yourself post Doomsday.
And I always thought that it's Cloud of Fairies and Emrakul Shelldock Isle.
Oh yeah,
no?
Yeah. Those are some weird times.
Not old school enough. Okay, well,
my favorite interaction from old Doomsdays was using the Conjurer's Bauble with the Labman, because it didn't use the stack, so you couldn't like bolt the Labman response.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Emrakul Shelldock Isle thing, though, a lot of people are playing that in the sideboard, and so I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because the reason why you'd play Emrakul Shelldock Isle is for the matchups where you basically have against like dress downs and endurance, like slow matchups where you're not about to die, but you have all these kind of things that can beat an uncounterable Oracle because they don't actually counter it, they just stop it. And the idea being that Shelldock Isle with Emrakul is a way to sidestep that. But in my experience, the decks that play the dress downs and endurances have like Wasteland or Teferi or both. And so I don't actually think that the Shelldock Emrakul plan is reliable against those decks. I think you're just opening up another line of vulnerability.
Yeah, I feel like it has become pretty uncommon. At least from me looking at it from the outside, I rarely ever see it in decklists these days.
Oh, that would be why.
Cool. So I think before we move on, we have one more question from Martin from our Discord. And he's stating that, Max, your sideboards have been known, especially your Doomsday sideboards, have been known to always contain Brazen Borrower. Is that like a pet card of yours? Or how come it always ends up in your sideboard, other than, of course, being like a legit legacy card?
I mean, when Wizard of the Coast, originally came up with the idea of Mythic Rare, they said, we're not doing Mythic Rare off of power level. We're going to do it off of, like, splashy, cool, flavorful cards, right? That was, like, what they said when they initially came out with Mythic Rare. If you look at Brazen Borrower, it's a Mythic. There's nothing splashy or big or, like, Timmy about the card. It's just really good.
It's literally a bounce spell and a flying creature.
It's Mythic because it's a really good card on rate. Like, so it's just a super flexible way. Like, you can bounce a Chalice of the Void or kill an Arset. Like, it's just this card that also, like, supplements the Sheoldred plan, where you're like, say your opponent did actually manage to get a Murktide into play before you landed Sheoldred, you can bounce it with Borrower and then play the 3/1 to block the attacking Dragon's Rage Channeler. Like, or literally just like, fog a big flying creature for a turn, or like attack down a Karn that's preventing your artifacts from working. It's just a super flexible card that I almost would play 2 of, but Chain of Vapor being a 1-mana bounce spell is just important enough in some situations to merit the 1/1 split to me.
Do you put Borrower in many piles, or is it just a group when you draw it, basically? You do?
Yeah,
cool.
I do. Also, another thing it does, to that point, is adds 2 devotion.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
So you can play like a Cavern Oracle. Like, if you have Borrower in play,
so it's good
you can play Cavern Oracle with 2 cards left in your library, and the Pyroblast effect, where you could plow or Pyroblast a Resolved Oracle, would still win you the game because you still have 2 devotion. And it's insurance against endurance, which does rhyme, but also extra devotion means that endurance is less likely to actually stop you.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, part of that is actually, by the way, I saw the Relic of Progenitus in the sideboard, And in the days leading up to this, I saw you and Kai actually talking in our chat about a situation where Kai couldn't win. And you were like, you know what, if you had Relic of Progenitors in your main deck, we could actually craft a pile that would beat Endurance here. Is that like the main application other than being an additional point of Graveyard Hate?
Yeah, so it is to beat Endurance. I think the situation Kai was talking about was sideboard, so he should just board it in.
Yeah,
But,
I was just like way too stupid. You know, I think it's like beyond my comprehension, but I think now I get it.
So I was talking to Ethan Formicella, whose Monkeys Can't Cry, on Magic Online in the days leading up to this, because as soon as I had decided I was playing Doomsday for this event, which was basically off of being faster for rounds, I reached out to him and was like, hey, are you playing Sunday? And he was like, yeah. And then completely unprompted, here's my exact list that I'm going to play, and feel free to ask me any questions about any card choices. And so I was like, hey, what's with Relic? And so he explained it as basically this complicated way of like, it's a double pass the turn pile, which I won't get into too much details in, but it's in that guide on my Twitter. But the idea is that you can play it, and between tapping to exile your graveyard and cycling it, you can draw through your entire deck to Cavern Oracle to be essentially infinite endurances. There's no opportunity for any number of endurances to disrupt that pile. And so I used to be playing Tormod's Crypt in that spot because, you know, you can just like put a Tormod's Crypt in play and then crypt yourself in response to the endurance, but that doesn't actually beat like a second endurance. Meanwhile,
this sounds more like the caveman approach, whereas like Relic of Progenitors is like this super elegant tool.
Right. So I didn't know how to use it, but Ethan taught me, and so I put it in the deck.
Very cool. And there's a couple more, like, do you want to talk about the swamp? Because that's not usual as well.
The swamp is not typical. So Doomsday is essentially, despite the card itself being triple black, is basically a mono blue deck splashing a triple black spell. If you look at the rest of the deck, like Oracle's double blue, all the cantrips are double blue. I guess the discard is black as well. But the idea being that you're this blue deck that wants to just like hit islands, because after you resolve Doomsday, swamp is pretty close to a dead card. It's not like there's situations where it's not dead, but it gets pretty bad because it doesn't cast Thassa's Oracle. But with Sheoldred in the sideboard, having this permanent black source is super important for being able to get to double black in a lot of games, because, you know, you can have Island Swamp and like cantrip and discard your opponent, and then eventually, like, you know, crack 2 more fetch lands and then have 4 mana cast Sheoldred, or go Swamp, discard you, turn 1, and then like play Island, Dark Ritual off of your Swamp, Sheoldred, turn 2, and then just have that all available without risking your discard spell, you're having to fetch an Underground Sea and getting wastelanded. Mm-hmm. So the idea being that Sheoldred incentivizes Swamp.
Makes sense. And what about this one of Leyline on the sideboard?
So that was a question. So Ethan was playing 2 Leyline of the Void, and I asked him about it. And like, why 2 Leyline? And his answer was really good, and it was basically as Doomsday specifically, not like in general as decks, so don't like extrapolate this out, but as Doomsday specifically, you have a pretty good matchup against like Oops All Spells and Reanimator in general, because you have like these 8 forces and all this like good stuff, and your combo is actually really powerful as well. But what you actually lose to is their nut draw, where they discard you and kill you on turn 1. Like they discard your force, and then like Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize 2 reanimate, you know, like that sort of thing. So you lose to their nut draw. So if you're going to need your Graveyard Hate spell to actually beat their nut draw, since you're beating their regular draws anyway, it may as well be a Leyline of the Void. You don't mulligan to it. Since it's only 1, you're not that likely to draw it. If you do draw it, you can ritual it out. It's not the worst.
Gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, if you get the opportunity to do that against like Oops or Reanimator, you are slam doing it. So yeah.
And I also really like it, right? So like you mentioned, the entire idea is you want your Graveyard Hate to be a 10 on the first turn, and you care a little less about whether it's like significantly less than average on the following turns. Mm-hmm. Whereas some people are more like, depending on the deck, they're like, oh, I want my Graveyard Hate to be like a 7 across the board, but 7 doesn't always cut it on the first turn, and that's why you want to hit it as hard as you can, and that's why Leyline would be a perfect choice for that.
Right. Also, like, also if you only play a single copy, like you're never gonna draw that shitty card once you have it in play.
Oh, you've cursed it now.
Yeah, now that you said
Cursed
it.
it now.
Like drawing Leyland is literally the worst thing you can possibly draw. After I think shortly after drawing a Progenitus, I think, but it is so bad.
So Max, yeah, I think that's most of like the interesting things, and it's just you have great answers for everything. It all makes sense. My main takeaway here has been like, number one, how good Sheoldred is. I think she was like under the radar for every format, and now Legacy is always like one of the slower ones to wake up because she's been dominating Pioneer and stuff. During this whole talk, I've just been thinking like how big Consider has been in addition to the deck, which is pretty cool.
It's huge.
Yeah, it just changes everything. But this deck just looks so sick and killer to me. Like you're describing like the game one plan of just being the most powerful, fast thing, and like deep analysis is weak to everything, but they don't have it yet, as you perfectly said. And then this sideboard plan is it just has a ton of options, right? Like a lot of the cards in the sideboard have this the Brazen Boar is the perfect like mobile card. It can change plan based on if you have Sheoldred or not as well around it. Fairly wrapping it up on the deck list stuff. Would there be any changes you'd make going forward?
I might cut the Mystic Sanctuary, which kind of underperformed, for a third Sheoldred.
Yeah, I like it.
Like, I got relatively lucky over the course of the tournament to like have Sheoldred in my opener, but playing more of them, increases those odds. And,
it's good when you say like after you've played a card for the first time and just crushed a tournament, you're like, yeah, I was lucky to draw it constantly. You sometimes hear a tournament report where someone's like, oh yeah, I played this cool new card. I didn't really draw it very much, but I won anyway. But this is the opposite, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, if you like go back to the like my overall matchups, like of my 11 rounds, I won 8 of them 2-0. So like,
yeah,
there's game 1 crush a really fast Doomsday, game 2 accelerate out of Sheoldred. Like even against Stompy decks, like the life gain is crazy. The fact that they like
just a huge blocker.
Yeah, just great blocker.
Yeah. I'm also like these kind of like, as we were talking about, this kind of like cheese sideboard duke, however you want to call it, they lose value when they become a known quantity. So you winning is obviously going to put it on the map and stuff.
Right.
But the way Doomsday works is it's so hard to sideboard against this card, even if you know about it. Like, what, you're going to leave Unholy Heat in or Swords to Plowshares? I'm not seeing like a good way around it, even if it's on your radar. Not in the same way like Esper, at least. There's mentors, and it's much more of a plan A post sideboard, I guess. But yeah. Yeah,
the thing I really wish if the Esper deck, like if the pivot cards weren't blue, I would just be so much happier with that deck overall, like to play it. But as it stands, everyone's playing all these Pyroblasts, to where like your Baleful Strixes get Pyroblasted, your Teferis get Pyroblasted. They're leaving in bolts against you a lot of the time because Doomsday is actually, as a combo deck, pretty soft to Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, it's weird. Like Bolt is it has its moments against you, and very often when I'm watching like Kai or anyone stream Doomsday, a lot of the time there is a pile which is like, okay, well, we lose to Doomsday if they have it in their deck post sideboard, and so having Teferi and Mentor and
Lightning Bolt, right?
Lightning Bolt, sorry, yeah, Lightning Bolt. What did I say?
Doomsday.
God, yeah, Doomsday's weak to Doomsday. Nice.
I thought you were the only one not drinking tonight.
Oh dear. Yeah. Having special water. But like having Mentor and Strix and Teferi just incentivizes the Bolt if they're on the fence about it, right? But here, right. I mean, they could double Bolt Sheoldred, I guess, but like, yeah.
Yeah, then you force of the second Bolt and they want to die inside.
You're a deck that still has forces and like duresses and stuff. Yeah, it just seems amazing.
Cool. Yes. Yeah, I think that's once again makes me want to play Doomsday. It's like one of those decks that I've been saying I want to play it for such a long time, and I remember, I think I even once did a stream where I got a crash course how to play the deck, and I still haven't fully tried. I think Max, really? I remember you at some point, like it might have been a year ago, you posted in one of our chats, right, that you want to pick. Maybe I'm misremembering this. That you want to pick up and learn Doomsday. Did that actually happen like a year ago or something, where you make like a conscious decision, hey, I want to get into this deck?
Yeah, it was actually during Oko Hell, so a bit longer than a year ago.
Oh, wow.
But like Snowco was just like, I was miserable in the format. Like I've been playing Legacy for, like 10 years, give or take, maybe a little more at this point. Time flies. And so this was the only time that I actually had like stopped playing Legacy. I had just so little fun playing these like just absolute slog 0 fun matches against Snoko decks only to lose with my opponent like at 15 seconds on the clock and me with like a minute. Like that was just
Tell me about it.
I just like no I just like put down the format. I was like, I hate this. And at some point, you know, kind of around the time that this happened, was when Thassa's Oracle got printed a little after, and Ethan Formicella, who was actually the person who like first I think put Thassa's Oracle into Doomsday. I was like, holy shit, this card's good. Because, you know, the rest of us were playing Underworld Breach. At that point, like after Snoko Hell, I was just like, I've been wanting to play Doomsday for a while. This is really scary, but I'm hating everything else that I'm doing right now in Legacy. I may as well try. And
that sounds really miserable. I'm not gonna. I mean, we pretty much all hated Snoko, I guess. But
I mean,
yeah.
some people
It made me
liked it.
sell like half my collection. I hated it so much.
Yeah, I've heard some people be like, "Oh, I love that time," and I don't have it in me to argue. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was like, okay, fine, let's try Doomsday. Let's see if this sticks. And so I played a league and I went 3-2, making a ton of mistakes, like it's really bad. And then next league I went 4-1, making fewer mistakes, still mistakes. Third league I went 5-0, and then at the end of like 5 leagues I was something like or 6 leagues or something, I was like 24-6 with the deck, and like in my first 30 matches, which is like for a deck that's supposed to be this like notoriously hard to play deck, it was a lot easier than the Mythos had let on. So I think a lot of that is like kind of holdover from the Doomsday before Thassa's Oracle was printed, where it was actually much harder to play.
It used to be actually super hard. Like unironically, just people would spend 5 minutes on a pile and then they would go through the motions and realize halfway through they actually couldn't do it because of this or that or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but now it's like, it's spicy Omnitel, right? It's like,
Yeah. It's just, I mean, as a bit of a combo fan these days, I think just Dark Ritual and Doomsday are such cool cards. I'm so happy they're good.
yeah, it's like Omnitel but fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I describe it.
That's a good way
Show
to
and
put
Tell
it.
is not cool. Doomsday is cool, in my unbiased opinion.
Awesome. And speaking of fun decks, why don't we take a look at the other decks in the top 8? Because there are some real spice. I mean, there's a zombie dinosaur deck. Callum already touched on it. This one is coming to us courtesy of Cherry X-Man, who top forward with the deck list is called B Stompy, so it's like Black Stompy. And in the past, I felt like of all the Stompy variants, Black was always the one that didn't really have a proper Stompy deck. Like there used to be like Demon Stompy with, if I remember correctly, like Grinning Demon. And then, well, I guess, okay, we got
It had
Curse
curses.
Stompy. Yeah, Curse Stompy is like less of a Stompy deck in the original sense of like just like putting big creatures into play and beating down. But yeah, this one is much closer to that. And dude, I can't get over the fact that this is literally playing 4 rotting Regisaurs. This, for those wondering, by the way, that's a 2 colorless, 1 black creature zombie dinosaur, 7-6. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card. It doesn't even have that Masticore clause of like, oh, and if you can't, it dies. It's literally just 3 mana, 7-6, and everything else doesn't matter. You lose a card, yeah, whatever.
Have you guys noticed what's missing from this deck? Well, quote unquote missing. I'm sure it's a decision not to play it.
So I played against it in top 4, and I was sideboarded as if my opponent had Chalice of the Void.
Yeah.
Found out after the fact they don't.
No. So they have, 7 Soul Lands, so 3 Sleeve Trays, French Tombs, and 4 Chrome Mox, and 4 Dark Ritual, but they are not playing Chalice. It's a very interesting decision.
Oh,
but
that's crazy. Yeah, I'm just seeing it right now. This is like a regular
this is just like
aggro deck of some sort.
yeah, it's like
Right?
it could be called Stompy for sure.
Yeah.
It's also playing like the 4 ley lines with 3 Helm of Obedience and the 4th Helm of Obedience in the sideboard because it has 4 Khan in the deck as well, and then it has the full Sheoldred. And I'm willing to bet that this deck won a ton of games by just playing super fast Sheoldreds.
Yep.
Yeah, I would think so, right? This is like, this deck is destined to get a like turn 1, turn 2 Sheoldred most of the time when it has it in the opening hand. And it also, like you mentioned the Stompy part, right? It's kind of funny how the term Stompy has changed in its meaning, because I think these days when we use it, we usually use it like Soul Lands, Chalice, Trinisphere, and then whatever broken thing you have at 3 mana. Whereas in the original meaning, like going back to like the late 90s, early 2000s, Stompy meant hey, we got undercosted big creatures, like think albino troll and stuff like that. And then we happen to have Stompy decks in Legacy at some point, like 8-land Stompy with like land grant and stuff. And then as those decks evolved, people added soul lands to them, and what goes well with soul lands? Chalice and Trinisphere. So over time, people came to associate that secondary part of the deck as the main meaning of Stompy. And I just want to go back to that to basically be the historian in that regard and feel like, this is much more of a throwback to what it actually means to be, or what it actually meant to be a Stompy deck. So Rotting Regisaur, Sheoldred and stuff, like that's what I want to see in a Stompy deck. And I kind of like the approach of, you know what, I'm not even going to have Chalice because I have so many hate cards in my main deck. Like half the cards you're going to have, they're just going to be useless anyway because they're either going to be in the graveyard or they're going to be shut down by Leyline, Karn, whatever, your position agent.
Yeah, this has like a ton of main deck graveyard hit as well. 4 Delphi Voidwalker and 4 main deck Leyline of the Void. Yeah. So rather than the reanimated decks and oops decks like cheesing them, this is gonna be like lol no, you're getting cheesed back.
But also if you open up with a Leyline against Delver, like their deck is basically shut off.
Yeah, it's just relying on the fact that like there are just so much incidental graveyard like value. Even control decks like relying on Uro a lot, although they have Minsc obviously now. But this deck just has like a good beatdown plan. Like I can see like turn 2 Rotting Regisaur, turn 3 Sheoldred, and then like you've maybe taken like one smack from a Regisaur, and then you're dead in a few times to Sheoldred.
Yeah, I mean, turn 1 Regisaur, right? Because you've got all the Soul Lands, you've got Chrome Mox, you've got Dark Ritual.
Yeah.
I played against this deck in the top 4.
Mm-hmm. How did it go?
I won 2-0 and I got lucky to have done so.
Mm-hmm.
I won the die roll, which is obviously fortunate because I was
able
to.
That's a good
start. So I looked at my opponent's hand, and they had basically like a Dark Ritual, Chrome Mox Soul Land, Regisaur, Karn, and Sheoldred. And I was just like, basically like shitting myself, like what am I going to do? Like all these cards beat me, because right, like if you think of like Sheoldred against Doomsday, if Doomsday is at like 14 life or 13 life, I guess technically is where the line is drawn, which is incidentally a hit from Regisaur. You go to 6, and to draw Oracle's your 3rd card down. You've had to draw 3 cards, so you're at 0. You just die to Sheoldred, and Karn prevents your fast mana from working, and like threatens all these like Pith Needle effects or all these like, Karn things, right? Mm-hmm. I had to take the Regisaur because
fascinating, because it just kills so fast.
Yeah, the way that my hand lined up, if my opponent turned 1 to Regisaur, I could play a turn 2 Personal Tutor, get hit for 7, turn 3 a Doomsday, die.
Yeah, 7/6 big. Cool.
Right. Yeah.
So do we think this deck has some staying power in the format?
Oh yeah, I think it's terrifying. I think it could have won the tournament if I didn't get lucky against it.
Cool. Because I've just like found these mono black. There's like the depth version. There's these helm versions. They do put up results and it's cool and I kind of like them. But they've always found like they seemed a bit like unfocused, I guess. Like they have these depth plan, the calm plan, and they it's 2-card Monty, right? So I guess it can look unfocused if they draw the wrong side of their deck. But this one just seems like it plays Thoughtseize and then like, these creatures and they just hit you really hard. And then it does have the Leyline Helm thing, but I don't know, it feels a bit better.
Yeah, maybe it could also like support maybe some number of like Ursa Saga in the main deck if there are Urbox already. I don't know if Saga is a good card in this deck,
I think the missing card is Karn Silex.
Karn Silex. That's the new one from the last set, which is 3-mana artifact, and your opponent can't pay life for abilities, right?
Right. Your opponent can't pay life to cast spells or activate abilities, so they can't fetch. They can't, in my case, can't force a will. They can't cycle a Street Wraith. And then it also has a Pernicious Deed effect.
That's a cool card. So because this deck is it's playing like Voidwalker and 2 Turax and some Chrome Moxes as like lower CMC stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you could, if you just turn 1 Silex, that's a really cool idea. Yeah,
so I was actually like terrified of Silex like when I was playing against it, because playing against the deck, I was like trying to figure out like real quick, like, okay, what's going to be in this deck? And Silex came to mind as like this, because they're clearly like playing Sheoldred, so like they're on to new tech,
Yeah.
And
This wouldn't be on my mind at all.
I was like, oh shit. And so
Yeah.
like I aggressively, like between Silex and opposition, or my fear of Silex and opposition agent, like aggressively fetched and like without my opponent being able to cast opposition agent, and then like try to discard them and get fast kills. In game 2, I actually won this with Sheoldred. Go figure.
Okay. So the Sheoldred beats the other Sheoldred deck.
you know you're in a weird spot in the format when like the best answer to a threat is the same threat on the other side of the
It's
board.
almost like there was like Tamugo with wolves.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Exactly. Imagine how different Legacy could have been if Tamogorf had more power than toughness. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's I guess we're still holding out for a proper name for the deck. For now, I guess we're gonna go with Black Stompy. Dinosaur Stompy is what I wanna see. Yeah, but we will see about that. The other deck I wanna highlight. Actually, that deck didn't top 8, and I feel so bad. Actually, who created this deck? Because I saw it on Twitter.
Susurrus.
Oh, you're the best. I literally, like I keep saying it, no matter what happens in Legacy, anywhere on the entire planet,
Do it.
Callum knows about it.
Callum
and he
is
knows
the
who
man.
made the deck, he knows what the parents are, and he knows where the person goes to school.
Well, I'll go deeper. This screenshot is actually from the same pilot, Cherry X-Man.
Oh, that's why I didn't credit it.
So, yeah. So Susurrus 5-0'd, and he doesn't post on Twitter and stuff, but he likes kind of artifacts and Stompy decks. So I'm always following him. He used to stream, and he's pretty top 3 favorite streamer of all time. He's just like so sarcastic and thinks everything's stupid, and it's just great. But he still plays. He just doesn't like post anything anywhere. And he got a 5-0 dump with like the 8 Spirit Guides and 4 Minsc and like loads of Furies and stuff. I think he had like 8 Spirit Guides and 4 Furies as the only creatures. And so he didn't have Caves of Chaos Adventurers, so it's a slightly different list. But that's where I first saw the idea. And then, yeah, Cherry X-Man posted this on Twitter saying, brewed it up with, I think it was a Harry MTG, and then they just 5-0'd the first league. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, to give a run of the deck, this is Turbo Minsc, right? We have 4 Ancient Tombs, we have 4 Chromogs, we have 8 Spirit Guides, we have 4 Minsc and Boo, we have, the 4 Chalices, 4 Blood Moons, 4 Trinity Spheres. Like, this is almost as straightforward as it gets. We have 4 Caves of Chaos Adventurer, which is the guy help me out who
it's the initiative. So it's like a 4 mana 5/3. When ETBs, you gain the initiative, and then there might be some more text. I can't remember.
and that's a dungeon that's
That's
not
it.
shitty, right?
It's a good dungeon.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that I know what the dungeon does.
I know that you're meant to go to the one on the right-hand side. That's it.
Yeah. I think we
Not
talked about
necessarily.
it on the last
Left
episode.
hand side is usually better. Left hand
Oh,
side has
okay.
Lava Axe.
Okay, that's the side I meant, and I'm just getting it wrong. See, I don't know what they do. I'm gonna copy X-Whale, and just like if someone plays against me, I'm just gonna eat their card.
Yeah, I wanted that to be the case, and then I was like so mad about it that like my brain accidentally learned it.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat too many cards as well.
Is that actually that good? Because like 4 mana is a lot of mana in Legacy, right?
It's
It is
pretty
but
good.
The reason it's good, Julian, is not because of the fact that like, so it's a 4-mana 5/3 dice removal, but the fact that like the initiative itself behaves like Monarchy, so it goes back and forth, and a lot of the time against red Stompy decks, you can kind of just like let the threat resolve, like bolt it, right? Like a Goblin Rabble Master or whatever, like let the threat resolve, answer it on your own time. You're not on this clock to actually kill them. You just have to not die when you're playing his red Stompy or this Minsc Boo deck, whatever Stompy deck we're talking about. And the idea being that this Caves of Chaos Adventure, what it does is it actually forces your opponent to have to put pressure on you to take the initiative, which they probably can't do given the fact that your entire deck is designed to be aggressive. So if they're attacking you, they're losing. Or if they're attacking you, traditionally they've already won. But if they're attacking you before they're ready to do that, they're losing.
That's why I was comparing it to a Planeswalker, right? A Planeswalker is kind of the same. If the opponent doesn't pressure the Planeswalker, at least a 4-mana Planeswalker, hopefully eventually runs away with the game. Yeah. And yeah, but I guess there's not, like, I guess if we could, we would play 8 Minsc Boo or something. The only 4-mana Planeswalker that comes to mind here would be something like either one of the Garruks or Chandra. What's the one? Torch of Defiance, even though that doesn't run away with the game on its own. Well, the ultimate kind of does.
I don't think those go well with just how Stompy decks are these days. Like, I'm not super high on the Caves of Chaos Adventure, if I'm honest. Otherwise, the deck seems good. Like, Minsc is so terrifying from a Stompy deck because it kills so fast. That's why I think a 4-mana Planeswalker fits in. It's such an aggressive threat rather than Chandra is like slow card advantage / removal spell. Khan is just... I think of Khan as a slow combo hate card, honestly, most of the time.
And I'm not a big fan of Khan at all.
Yeah, but Minsc Boo is just like 4/4 haste into a 7/7, and obviously the draw. We don't need to go over how good it is, but this is a mono red deck splashing for Minsc Boo.
I mean, yeah, I'm just happy that we have a Gruul deck in Legacy.
Are you really?
I mean, I'm serious. I'm not, but you know, I mean, our pure red green deck in Legacy. This is like something we haven't had in almost a decade. I want to say. I guess you can say lands, yeah, but this is like a true green red.
I mean, there were builds of Agrolome like in 2009-10 that were mostly blue-green and then either splashed white or black. But yeah,
right.
This is the red green jacket from our childhood, right? This is the the 10-year-olds are just gonna play creatures and attack you.
Exactly. I mean, this deck has a lot of interesting things going on. Like I'm just looking at like Punishing Fire, Growth with Windows alongside Blood Moons in the main deck, for example.
I was about to point out that nice combo.
A lot of interesting stuff going on.
I do feel like, I mean, maybe the Caves of Chaos Adventure is good, but because you do have the 8 Spirit Guides. Like having 8 Spirit Guides is a lot of fast mana, and you're going to pump out like a threat fast. Maybe it's fine.
For what it's worth, I want Caves of Chaos Adventure to be bad. Like, I hate it. I hate initiative. I hate everything.
I really hate initiative. I don't know where that's coming from. Like, I don't think the card is very good, but I also don't mind. But there's some real hate for the card.
Like, so when Baldur's Gate got released on Magic Online, I opened a bunch of chests trying to find Minsc Boo. I opened like 3 Caves of Chaos Adventures, like skimmed the cards, like, this sucks, sold them for like nothing because I was like, this card sucks. And every time I've played against it, I've basically, if it's resolved, I've lost because of it. And it's been like so terrifying to actually like, it's kind of like the Sheoldred, right? Like you read it and like, yeah, whatever. But then it's like actually enters play and you're like, oh fuck, what am I going to do? I can't actually attack you because I don't have a creature in play. I have a bolt in hand.
So the first couple of things are like the first ETB of the initiative is you get a basic from your deck. And the second
first thing you get a basic.
2 1/1 counters.
Yeah, second one you either 2 1/1 counters or scry 2. And then the third one you basically lava axe your opponent or create like a 4/1 with menace or like
that sacks the end of the turn or something.
I think it stays around. I don't know. But then like the bottom one is like reveal the top 10 cards of your library and you like, get a creature from there and like put it into play and it's augmented somehow.
It gets bigger and has hexproof or something.
Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah. But like it's basically this like compared to like Chandra or whatever, like where you remove the Planeswalker and then your threat's gone. You can't actually remove Caves of Chaos Adventure and then get rid of the whole problem with it.
Yeah, it stays there. You need to then actually get some board presence and attack it.
Wait, so is initiative actually in Pauper? Because I saw people actually getting really pissed about initiative.
It used to be.
Pauper.
It broke it for like 2 weeks, then they banned it.
Yeah, because like if we are talking about like not the card, whatever it's called, like Caves of Chaos Adventure, like how's it a creature name by the way? Anyway, being so good, but like the initiative being so good, it's actually kind of crazy that was legal in Pauper in the first place.
Yeah, right. Pauper's a different beast. It's slower and there's just like it's very slow and grindy, so it's even harder to get the initiative back. Which it's like the Monarch, as Max said, like you need to hit them with combat damage.
I should have played some leagues while that was legal.
It's like Dark Ritual into initiative thing, and then like, opponent loses.
It was just playing like 4 mana 1/5s basically. It was the best one, and you just play like Dark Ritual, Lotus Petals, and Cabal Rituals to try and play it turn 1 or 2.
Like the way to take the initiative is to play your own initiative card.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like the old Legend rules with Chase, right? What's the best card against Chase the Mind Sculptor while playing a Chase Balerion the turn after, the turn before, and going -1?
Yeah. So what do you think about Turbo Minsc, guys? Do you think this will stick around, or people carry on playing Moon Stompy?
Well, I don't know. I expect Kindness to submit a donation deck list for this like very soon.
I almost played Turbo Rhinos and Hamsters for this tournament.
Wait, Turbo Rhinos?
I think that deck is actually pretty good. It's basically not played at all, right?
It's basically not played at all.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't play it is because I sold my Mexican Boos for like
silly amounts
tickets.
Yeah.
So
that's
for a new house.
I didn't want to like start like begging like for a set of them, and I was like, also like Doomsday, as I said, like fast matches, which also Turbo Rhinos same deal. But it's I think
I haven't played against it, but it just looks really strong, honestly.
I mean, you turn 1 instead of 4/4s, people are gonna lose.
Yeah. And
Especially in Legacy, yeah.
yeah, very
Cool.
cool.
Cool. So yeah, we received a lot of questions. About stickers, about supplemental sets and everything. I think we're gonna move that to the next episode. There's, I didn't expect that there actually would be cards to talk about, but it looks like Infinity is gonna have some cards, and yeah, some of my friends are actually losing. Like one of my friends, spoiler alert, is actually told me he is gonna sell his entire collection now and move out of the game after like 15 years or something. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that.
I do. Okay, we'll talk about stickers next episode and cover it and stuff. But I want to ask you guys one rules question about this. So this card with like blank name then goblin, it's a 3 mana. It's a 2 and a red, so 3 mana or 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you can put a name sticker on it. Add red for each unique vowel on that sticker. I have a rules question for you guys. See what you say. If you bolt it with this trigger on the stack,
Oh, no.
what happens?
Dude, I want to talk about this next week because I literally have no idea.
So my understanding, based off of general rules, is like, you know what scavenging is? Like if you exile a card and then like you gain a life and put a +1/+1 counter on ooze, like and someone bolts the ooze in response. So you still like exile the card, and if it's a creature, you still gain the life, but you don't get a counter on the card because it's gone. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may put a name sticker on it, add red for each unique vowel on that sticker. Only cares... Actually, shit. Okay, I was going to say...
It cares about whether the sticker
I'll
gets
finish
put
my
on
thought. I'll finish my thought, then I'll put out the counterpoint. I was going to
Yeah.
say only cares about the unique value on that sticker. So it's like ETB, choose a sticker, and then it's about the sticker itself. But that's not true because it says you may put a name sticker on it. So that may be the case that it... Like if you remove it in response, you can't do that. But also the fact that stickers are perpetual. So
Yeah, you can put
stickers follow
stickers on
you
cards in
across
graveyards.
zones. So Mind Goblin or whatever it is that you choose,
You're calling that already.
dying doesn't. Well, you could still like put a sticker on it in the graveyard, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Because it's so weird, it's so different from everything we've ever done. If it goes to the graveyard, it's still kind of like the card. You can put a stick on it. I guess you can...
But then do you get mana?
You should, right?
Yeah, because it cares
Like,
about the vowels on that sticker.
Yeah.
The question is whether the sticker gets put onto it in the first place, and if it does, I think you do get the mana.
if they're so disrespectful, like just bolting this poor goblin creature, you should just put that on their forehead or something, like somewhere else,
Yeah. Cool.
and still get the
we're-
mana.
I think we'll find out until next week.
Yeah, we'll find out next week.
Somebody's probably going to post it on Twitter. Hit us up on @EternalMTG to let us know how this is going to work. There's an even trickier question that XJake posted on Twitter where it's like, what if I make a copy and then I put a sticker on it and then the copy dies? And of course the copy ceases to exist in the graveyard, but literally there's nothing in the rules about what happens to stickers on... Yeah, okay. I can see why my friend wants to quit Magic. Anyway.
Nice.
So, but yeah, we have 2 more questions, basically for the entire team. But I'm going to pass this one on to Max. Franco Bowley is asking, what would your art for Doomsday be if you could give it art direction? I think, Kai, you've answered this many times, right, on the cast.
I'm not gonna say a single word.
Well, you can, but I think we've heard it many times. But Max, what is your answer?
I've seen Kai's. If anyone hasn't seen Kai's 5-piece artwork of some of what happens to someone when they cast Doomsday, it is beautiful. Those paintings are fantastic. So I'm just gonna preface it with that and go in a completely different direction for my answer because I can't match that. One of the things I find kind of like in Magic, like the game to lore kind of thing, where your deck is like your knowledge, right? Everything you know. Doomsday itself is basically saying the world's ending around you. Search through everything you know and find some things and like store them, organize them, keep them close to you. Like you're very hurt, but like you're grabbing these things that are absolutely essential to you and keeping them. And so that's kind of like how I interpret the text of Doomsday, keeping that knowledge and losing everything else. So I kind of like, I'd focus on like the like desperate hope aspect of it.
I like that. You know what? Actually, that inspires me. Well, it inspires me to hope that Ristic Studies is going to do a video on Doomsday at some point. Because those videos are amazing, and there's so much flavor in Doomsday, right? Like you mentioned your interpretation of it. Yeah. The world ends around you, and there's only 5 things that you get to keep for the rest of your life, however long it may be.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. And our very last question, coming to us from Nevershoot. What are your guys' favorite 2-card combos? Doesn't have to be game ending. Let's go around. Kai, what is your favorite two-card combo?
Mine is Blue Elemental Blast and Chill, just because I want to beat Callum Smith.
Perfect. Callum, how do you counter?
Well,
please don't tell me you still didn't think about anything.
I did. Well, obviously these days it's Painter and Grindstone. They are my love now. In the past, it would have been something which Julian's going to go to, but it was Shardless Agent Ancestral Visions.
I mean, that's cool. I can respect it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Actually, yeah, it's actually quite cool.
All right, I'm joking. It was Astrolabe and Blood Moon. Next.
I had too much mind to really care. Anyway, so Max, what is your favorite two-card combo?
It is Minsc Boo and Phyrexian Dreadnought.
That's cheating. That's three things.
No, it's not. It's two things.
Minsc Boo and...
Well, the Boo doesn't do anything. It's just...
Well, the Boo actually does a lot of work.
The Boo just watches.
Don't disrespect the hams. Oh, well, okay.
In this two-card combo, the Boo just watches, because you attack for 12 with your Phyrexian Dreadnought, and then you play Minsc Boo, and then you fling your Phyrexian Dreadnought for additional 12. So you one-shot your opponent.
Flavor-wise? Cool, dude.
I
love that.
I mean, Minsc is just really strong and throws a Phyrexian Dreadnought at someone.
Okay. So yeah, my two-card combo might actually be the least exciting one, but it has been my favorite two-card combo for basically ever since those cards have existed, and that's Noble Hierarch plus Medallion Click. Because
it's a very generous use of the word combo here.
Yeah, I don't see a single combo here, but
dude, come on. You play turn 1 Noble Hierarch, you play turn 2 Medallion Click.
My favorite two-card combo is Volcanic Island and Delver Secrets.
Dude, that's like that. Yeah, that's like Land of Elf and any 3-drop.
That used to be so much fun, right? You cast your turn 2 Medallion Click. They are tapped out for something stupid in the first turn, like Wild Nacapper, and then you take their removal spell, you untap, and you hit them in the face for 4, which is like.
Wow.
How much is that? Like
that's more than 3.
Of their life total?
Yeah, that's
That's literally 20% of their life total.
Right.
It's like going turn 1 Lamarelf, turn 2 Trained Armadon, turn 3 Attack for 4.
No, you guys are making fun of me, but this is one of the most elegant things you can do in Legacy, and was one of the most joyful. You're not appreciating me.
It's kind of funny that you say like Noble Hierarch into Vendilion Click after we talked about like turn 1 Dark Ritual into Rotting Regisword,
It's just the best, man.
The format has moved on. We're playing turn 1 7/6s. Sorry.
No, Barn Survivor shall rise again. It's the best. It's the best deck. I don't know, man.
We still love you,
at some
man.
point they're gonna print like Fire Survivor, right? You survive it straight into play.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of happened with French Wines.
I do have to say that Buried Alive and Arclight Phoenix is also up there.
Oh yeah, I have lost more money trying to win with Arclight Phoenix decks than anything else like in any format, like across formats, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy. I keep on every time U5O Callum. With Arclight Phoenix,
it's Pietroni 10's fault now. Every time I see like he 5-0s or does well in a challenge, I'm like, God damn it, here we go again. Gotta play it again.
My old love.
And the list looks so good, right? It's like, oh, it's playing Ledger Shredder now, so it's like you can like just go, like you can like keep on convincing yourself that it's like good, and he's just really, really good at it.
Yeah, basically.
It's like that X where you think like, maybe we should reconnect. I don't know, man.
That's like, so it.
Yeah, it's just weird when you look at somebody else like having a lot of fun with it, and you're like, oh, I should get back to her. It's like, wait, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna be it from us today. We're gonna link Mac's sideboard guide, which I guess from what I've heard today is much more than just a sideboard guide. It's also like. Is it the current form of the Doomsday Bible? It feels like it, at least. We're going to link that in the show notes. If you want to support the running of the show, you can submit a review on Apple Podcasts. And I heard that you can actually submit reviews on Spotify now.
Wow.
So for those not in the know, I think up until like 2 years ago, I kept begging people to finally submit our first review on Spotify. Until somebody actually took the time to send me an email to tell me that you can't leave reviews on Spotify. But apparently now you can. So if you want to be our first 5-star review on Spotify, hit us up there and leave a review. You can also support the running of the show on patreon.com/everydaychannel. And with that, if you want to see some memes, some links, and a lot of other wonky stuff, check out @EternalMTG on Twitter and Instagram. Kai, Callum, and Max, where can people find you online?
People can find me on Twitter and Twitch and most other social media platforms such as Instagram. It's always Sawatarix. Also my homepage, sawatarix.com.
Max?
You can find me on Twitter at Maxtortion. It's where I have, this whole sideboard guide and pile guide as my pinned tweet right now. I post a lot of things about Magic Legacy, what's working for me, what isn't, but I also just kind of like, shit post, crack jokes, have a good time. I try to make my Twitter a generally positive, fun space that I think I enjoy writing.
Oh, do you?
People enjoy reading. You don't think so?
No, I just like whenever somebody says something like that, I try to imagine the opposite, where somebody's like, I'm trying to make my Twitter like pretty like dire and boring and like bad. And
No, I mean
But
Twitter is in and of itself like this like very, very negative spot where like Twitter is like the most like, if we're talking about like various Magic formats like of being like punishing, Twitter is the most punishing Magic format. Like you think you lose like by making one misplay in Legacy, you make one misplay on Magic Twitter, you're out.
Oh
like,
yeah, it's
no
one strike, you're
game
out.
two. It's like Magic Twitter is a very, very high risk, low reward format, and so I try to play the format well.
Yeah, you just don't talk. It's easy.
I keep talking. That's the thing.
Yeah. It's true.
Oh, trying to step through the minefield. I see. Okay, and if you want to see me navigating the minefield that is Twitter, you can check me out on @itsjulian23, and you can watch my streams on It's Julian on Twitch. With that, big shoutouts to everybody supporting the show, everybody on Discord hanging out, having a great time. I was just talking.
Julian, I think you skipped Callum.
It's all right.
Wait,
I can take it.
We skipped the best man.
No. I mentioned Callum after you. I thought, oh yeah, you're right. We actually skipped Callum.
That's okay.
But we were saving the best for last.
Yeah, I was going to say that after. I'm at Callum Smith MTG. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, and you're actually the best, dude.
How'd you come up with that name?
Oh, I don't know. It's just it's such a unusual name for an English person as well.
Yeah, like I get the Callum Smith part, but then it's like a bunch of like consonants
Just
after
weird,
it.
yeah, just weird letters. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like Callum Smith meeting Callum Smith.
Meeting
I
the
thought
G.
we were talking about like Callum's parents, like picking the name.
Yeah, same.
Got it.
MTG
Cool.
means I'm a fan of the that crazy.
Oh no,
woman.
please don't go there.
No, I'm always worried that I'm going to get mistaken for that actually now. So I might
Oh,
have to
they
delete
might
it.
be giants, right? Like MT might.
Yeah,
that
that's the
band.
band,
Okay.
right?
Cool,
I sometimes
yeah.
get so confused when I read headlines, and I'm like, what does this have to do with Matt? Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But yeah,
we're not mentioning the Voldemort politician.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a wise play. See, this is how you stay ahead of the game and on Twitter. So yeah, with that, big shout outs to everybody supporting the show, everybody hanging out on Twitter, making it a great time. I was just talking to a friend of mine whom I met at the trade fair again, because they are not really into Magic, but they asked me what one of my proudest achievements, and like they met as a player in Magic is. But to me, and it sounds cheesy, is really like cultivating like an actual Twitter, Discord community. Because I see so many places where they're like, oh yeah, you get Discord access, and they go to Discord and it's like a barren wasteland. And yeah, so basically, big shout outs to everybody hanging out there, making it a great time, making it a great place to shitpost while I'm at work. And so yeah, especially for our Eternal Witness tier supporters, Tommy Hinks, Sasaki, Sebastian Holaga, Guillaume, Hannah F, Sean Dewey, Francis Coper, Cassandra Davis, and Severin Schwarzhuber. Actually, Severin did really well at the Etc. tournament on the weekend. So shout outs to that. I think he played after breakfast. Really good deck. Gotta stream that sometime. Sorry, I'm having a little too much wine. I'm streaming from my couch on my laptop, drinking wine. I'm actually happy we got this far into the cast.
Yeah.
And big shout outs especially to the Grizzlebrand tier supporters as well. Victor Bernards, Butcher Butt, Scott Monroe, Jeremy Gates, Henry Korkutz, Tom Happ, Andrew Whitman, and Paragon Games and Zach Lewis. All of you guys have been supporting us for a long, long time. We're really grateful for that. And I'm looking forward to editing this without a keyboard tomorrow. So this is going to be interesting.
Just hit your head against the screen. It's fine.
That's how it works, right? That's how I win on Magic Online.
Just
Exactly.
open up the on-screen keyboard and use your mouse.
The thing is, I can't even enter my password.
Just yell it. Keep yelling it into your microphone.
We'll figure it out. Maybe I'm going to stay a little bit longer at work tomorrow.
Oh, no.
But I hear there's also these places where you can exchange money for items. So maybe that's going to help me out.
No, they won't give you a keyboard if you've already had one.
Oh, communism wins again.
Yeah.
Shit. I have to trade in the old one. Okay, I see. So yeah, with that, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with my, I would guess, pretty bad sound quality compared to what we usually have. I blame it all on the wine. Literally, it flooded my keyboard. It bugged out my computer. But we had a great guest. We had 2 great co-hosts who saved the show. And with that, see you again next time in October when we will talk about amazing stickers and how Sheoldred is actually ripe for a ban. See you then. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Sayonara.
Bye-bye.